Good morning. We're back. We're here in the spreader truck again today. Going to haul off some compost. Have a pretty good pile there that we have to get rid of. We have to get rid of it today because we're leaving for Orlando in the morning. We got to get rid of this compost because we've had some high mortality here lately in the chicken houses, and every compost bin we have is full. Well, stack house is almost full too. So if we don't get rid of it, we're going to run out of places to put it. We have one customer that really likes compost on his pastures. He says he thinks it works better than litter. So, we're glad to hear that because we need to get rid of it. So let me get this thing going and we'll get started hauling some litter. Show you a little bit of what we got here today. This is our pile. Starts about there, ends back there. This pile is also another pile of compost that we have to get rid of. Hadn't been in here as long, so it probably needs to sit a few more days just to go through another heat. But it's just me today. My sidekicks are both in school, so today's the last day of school before we leave for Orlando tomorrow. It's with the junior high school band. That's Evie's school, the junior high school, and we're going to keep Cora out of school just because we're not going to take one of them to Disney and not the other one. Evie's getting to go to Universal for 3 days, I believe it is. We get to spend, it'll be tomorrow evening, Friday, and Saturday at the park, and then Sunday they're going to play. They're going to go to a sound stage and do something with a Minions movie, play a song in the Minions movie. So it's a pretty cool deal, but letting the loader warm up, letting the truck warm up. It's about 45, maybe about 45 degrees today, so a little bit on the cool side, if you know what I mean. But in middle March, truth be known, it's a very nice day for middle March around here. It's not very windy. It's not been raining for a few days, so I'm hoping this pasture we're going to is dry enough to get on. It's got some low spots. There's a pretty good creek that runs beside it, and there's some spots you just don't go on when it's raining, when it's been rainy, and I hope it's been dry long enough that we can get in and get out without getting stuck. I am going to take a shovel just in case, because if you do get stuck when you're hauling litter, you can take some of this chicken litter and throw under the tire, and it works very well. It works very well to get you out of a little bit of a stuck situation. You can't bury it up to the axle and then pull out with it, but we're going to take a shovel just in case. That way, if we have the shovel with us, we're guaranteed that we probably won't get stuck. But if we don't take a shovel, I'll end up calling my father-in-law. Y'all know. But let me get this stuff warmed up, get the truck moved around where we can load it, and we'll get back with you in a minute. Some people may wonder what I'm talking about when I say we're hauling compost today. This is compost. What this is litter, chicken litter out of the chicken house, cake litter. Sometimes it's the finer stuff after we windrow. But all this is litter that we've composted our dead birds in. And you'll see some feathers, you'll see some bones, but that's all there is in this. There's no meat left, there's no organs left, there's none of that kind of stuff. It's just every now and then you'll run across some bones that still have feathers on them, and it actually looks like a chicken, but all it is bones and feathers. And some people actually like this better than regular litter. Some don't, and I don't blame them. I mean, I get it. I don't know that I would really want dead chickens thrown all over my pasture, but some people like it better. They say that the bones in the litter, the added calcium from the bones, they believe it makes a better fertilizer, and they could be right. I never have looked into it that far. I hope they're right, because that means they keep buying it. But it's one of those to each their own kind of things. Need to stick a little bit of grease on this truck before we go anywhere. We've got 4 bearings on this truck that we have to grease. See if I can get you guys up to where you won't fall over. The only bearings on this truck that we really have to worry about greasing is on the drag chain. The drag chain's the one in the bottom of the bed that pulls litter out of the bed onto the spinners. there's just 2 shafts on it, and there's, you know, a bearing on each end of the shaft. And that's really just about all there is. Sometimes these things can get a little dry and they'll start making some noise, but usually you hit them with a couple of shots of grease. Now this one's taking a little bit more than I thought it would. There it is. I like to shoot it until I see the grease squeeze out. That way I know the bearing's full. There's enough in there to keep going. Here on the motor side, got another one. That's the hydraulic motor, right? Sorry. Right here, that's our hydraulic motor. That's what drives this bed chain. Got a bearing here on the inside. Some people kind of forget to grease bearings on these things. I tell you what, it's for what it takes and what it, that was a big clump of grease. I didn't even see that one coming. Guess I was too busy talking. For what it takes to grease a bearing and what it costs to replace a bearing that wasn't greased, it's well worth the time to take and grease the bearing. I think I had y'all upside down there. Sorry. I'll be with you in just a minute. Alrighty, we are ready. We are ready. We are loaded. We are greased. We're going to go down the road here about, I don't know, 2 or 3 miles, something like that. A little extra on the side. It'll be alright. We'll go down the road here about 2 or 3 miles. There's a guy, I call him a down the road neighbor. He don't live right next to us, but you know, he's a pretty good friend. Likes to have the compost on his pasture, which I'm very happy with. Gives us a chance to get rid of some of it. So we're going to go to the down the road neighbor's place here, and then it's a nice little place. It's not very big. It'd probably take. He likes to put it on heavy. According to the USDA, we can legally spread 5 tons to the acre. Usually we spread about 2.5 tons to the acre, and that's enough to have good fertilizer on pastures and on hay fields, but it's not really enough to burn up the grass if you don't get rain when you need it. So we're gonna, he wants it at 5 tons to the acre, which, as dry as this litter is, I don't think it'll burn anything if we don't get rain, but there is rain coming. It's supposed to be here either Friday or Saturday. Today is Wednesday. That 2 days is not going to be enough to worry about burning up his grass. So he should be fine. I'll tell you what, they didn't make these trucks for comfort, that's for sure. Which, the seat that's in here is not the right seat. We've got a bench seat to go back in it. Just hadn't had time to put it in yet. We've only had it about a year, you know. That's about time of the year to put it in yet. So we will one of these days, and I think it'll make the truck a lot more comfortable. This seat here, I don't know where it came from, but it has been ridden hard. Bought the truck from my in-laws when they quit raising chickens and we started. Truth be known, we probably wouldn't even haul litter if we hadn't already been able to get a good deal in the truck. So we don't really make a lot doing this. We don't really make anything doing this. I just kind of keep it for my time. But it gives us a chance to, it gives us a good way to get rid of our litter. It gives us a good way to get rid of compost. And we get to meet good people. It gives us something else to do that's not on the farm. Because every now and then, you just need a little time away. It's just, sometimes it can get to be too much. Alright, we've made it to the pasture. Again, this is a guy that just lives down the road from us. I call him a down the road neighbor. Got a couple of gates here we have to work, and one of them right here, I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but it's a pretty sharp 90-degree corner. And this is one spot where this shorter truck really excels. A lot of people want an 18 and 20 foot spreader body. This one's just 14, and the truck's I think it's a 179-inch wheelbase, which works out very well in these little places like this. and show you what I'm talking about. See here, this is the driveway coming in, and you have to make this 90-degree turn into here, and then you have to make another 90-degree turn here to get up into this part of the pasture. Short wheelbase truck. That is the ticket. He's got a few cows in here. I don't see them right now. I don't know if I can get through here. I don't know if I can get through with this load before cows show up, so I may have to get back out and shut the gate just in case. But that's okay. I charge an extra $5 a load if I have to work a gate, and he doesn't mind paying an extra $5 a load if I have to work a gate. That just works out well for both of us. So, get pulled in here and get backed in and get started. Be back in a minute. Alrighty, folks, here we are. We are ready. These little pastures, and it may be this way everywhere. It may not be just here. I don't know. But they've always got just random stuff. I think it must just be a thing with most farmers that they're just gonna have random stuff. You know, you got an old chicken. I know you can't see through the windshield. It's kind of foggy in here. But you got an old chicken house over here, and you have a building here, and you have a building here. You have a pile of trees, and back behind me there was a water trough for cattle that didn't have any water in it. There we go. Looks like we're spreading pretty good. See it kind of hitting the ground there. This is kind of a tough little spot to spread in, just because you're right beside the road. And this bed being hydraulic, you can ease off the gas and slow the spinners down to a point. But it's not like the old PTO drive beds. You really have to be careful because they still throw quite a bit of litter a pretty good ways. See if I can get some of this windshield to clear up a little. So what I do when I get in these little spots here, right here's this fence, right here's a tree. I have to be easy going through here. So the camera may not get everything just because, but I'm trying to not throw it in the road just because people don't want that. But then you hit these little humps like this one and it tilts up and you get throwing litter in the road. Which, again, I don't like it, but it is what it is at this point. I bet that power truck didn't like it either. Now we get right here, I'm going to turn around and back into that corner, just because when we get down to that corner, there's nowhere to turn around. So you guys give me just a minute, let me get that. All right, we're backing in the corner down here. This little part of this pasture is just kind of a little triangle shape. And I want to stay far enough over that I don't throw it all in the road, but you can see there's a pretty good bank right there that I really don't want to be too close to. This ground is still a little bit wetter than I thought it was, or than I would have liked for it to be. See the bank a little better now. You run off that thing in this truck, you're going to be sitting on your lid pretty quick. So I'm just going to ease back here about as far as I can. Back here in these trees, that's about far enough, I think. So we've got a power truck going by. I'm gonna let him go ahead. I don't want to throw it all over him on purpose. Now here we go. Whoops, didn't get in gear. There we are. Now we're in gear. I'm trying to get down off that bank too, but at the same time not throw it all in the road, just because I can't get on the bank. It's just too steep. So when I get down there, I just throw it to the bottom of the bank. But at the same time, over there is the road. So I'm just kind of having to ease through here. A little bit of hope and a prayer here that we're not covering the road up. If we are, we won't charge them for it. They can have. The county can have that little bit for free. And now we'll ease around this little building here. There's a syrup tub. I don't want to cover it up. Anybody that's never been around cattle very much, you can see the syrup tub coming in the frame now. See the black pieces on the side? That's a roller. and the roller sits down in the syrup that's in the tub. And as the cow licks the roller turns and the syrup sticks to the roller. Pretty slick way for him to get a little extra treat. Now we're going to head up here this little hill. You still can't see through my windshield very well. It's not, the defroster in this truck is pretty terrible. See just a few cows standing over here. Now this little hill last year, about this time, we put litter on it, and this was, he just had cleaned it up. Just had cleaned it up and just had planted grass on it. You can see here, I mean, we're in early March. We're not even really in the spring green up yet. The jonquils are just starting to bloom. This is called the March flowers around here. But you can see this is still some pretty good grass. And typically the dirt in this area is pretty terrible. These cows are going to stand here and watch me until I get over there close to them. Then they'll just kind of start poking along, easing along. Big crane just landed right down there by this creek. I don't know if you can see him or not, but if you look at the 3 trees, if you look through the 2 on the right, he's standing right down there. That's pretty cool. One of those things, one of those reasons why I just enjoy spreading litter. You get out here and nobody here to bother you. And you never know what you'll see. They can get turned here without getting too far off the hill. Stay away from the creek. According to the USDA, we're supposed to stay at least 50 feet off of the creek with litter. So we try to stay at least that far. And now we're spinning, so we're going to have to back up. Yeah, just let it ease back off the hill here. This grass is still just a little bit wet. So I had to start a little earlier this morning than I meant to. Like I said, we've got to get ready for an Orlando trip. Now, we'll just turn and go off the hill this way. I wanted to finish up this little spot with this load, but that grass is wet and it's not worth tearing his ground up. So we'll just ease down through here. They put some of this little chicken house back up, put a new roof on it. It's kind of funny to me, this building, the frame of this building is probably 200 feet long. And that is exactly what chicken houses used to look like. And the reason why it's funny to me is used to, people would build one 200 foot long chicken house and make money with it. And now we have to build 600 foot long chicken houses to even be able to get a contract. So, I don't know. They say things are easier now than they used to be, but I'm not so sure. We are empty. That's a pretty cool little barn. I always thought that one was really cool. But we are empty, and it is time to head back toward the house. So we will do that. We will load up another load, and we will come right on back. our EV1 here with me today. It makes it a little easier to do this, and also it's just, you know, it's fun to have the kids around when we're working. I love to work with the kids, love to work with Danielle. We're headed for Orlando in the morning. I think I've already said that, but we've got to get some things ready to get some things done. This was one of the things that the farm needed done, and then I think she's getting the pets taken care of as far as boarding and that kind of thing. Get the clothes washed. All the things you have to do to go on a vacation. So, riding back over at Randy's again. This is the third load. There'll be at least 2 more, if not 3 more. He really likes to lay it to it, so might be able to get it in this one and 2 more. We'll have to see. Part of his place is still just a little bit wet. It's just that time of year, late winter, early spring. There's not a lot of places around here that dry out very much. It kind of makes it a little bit of a headache to haul litter. But then you get into summertime, hell, it's so dry that everything around is so dusty and nobody wants it, so you kind of have to haul it now. If you don't haul it now, you probably won't haul it later, at least not until fall. And then you kind of get back into the hole, all the ground's wet and that kind of thing again. So a little bit of a yo-yo effect, but it's something that we just have to deal with, something that we have to do. Right up on my butt the whole as far as they can, and then when we get a little bit of speed and the smell really starts to come off this truck, they typically back off. See if these do the same thing. They're hanging in there with me. That's a right pretty white GMC SUV of some sort. Here they go. Double line like an idiot. Passing on a double line like an idiot going up a hill and just met a tractor trailer that would have ate them alive. Amazing how stupid people are. And I hope you're watching this so that I can talk about you personally. Somebody out here buys junk cars. Not sure who it is. The reason why I know that is because there's a sign back here at the end of the road that says, I buy junk cars. People building a house right here. We just drove by. There's another farm just about the same size, well, it is the same size as ours, right up here on this hill. That's a mighty fancy house. That's a mighty big farm. Seems like every time that happens, the people building the house move in after the farm's put there, and then they complain about it. It's kind of like moving in next to a dump or landfill, whatever you want to call it. You can see the landfill, and you know it's there. Driving past it. Oops, y'all fell again. Did you have a nice trip? Sorry, can't help it. Just one of those dad jokes. Well, it's a good thing we brought a shovel. Hit this spot right here. I've shoveled a little bit of litter around this tire. You can see the mud on the tire. We're not buried by any means, but we've just hit a point where we're spinning. So I figured it would be a little bit soft in here. I didn't think it'd be quite this soft, but shoveled a little bit of litter in front of the tire and behind the tire. I'm gonna rock the truck a little bit and see what we can do about getting out of this little hole. Here we go. Let's see how quickly this goes bad. see here, here's where we got stuck to start with. We've moved this far. I guess it's about 8 feet. Get around here to the other side. You can see it's pretty good over here too. That's a whole lot more wet than I expected it to be. It really didn't feel that soft coming in here, but you know, I guess hindsight's 20/20. See if we can rock our way out of this now. Here we go again. There we go. There we go. Didn't make too big of a mess. But I'm not going in there again, I guarantee you that. Mr. Randy, if you see this, I'll bring you another load when it dries up some, buddy. Right now, it just is not the time for that point. We've got some other places out here we'll get to here in a minute, but we've got one more spot back here that we have to cross the creek to get to it. And to tell you the truth, I'm a little bit nervous about it. It's usually another one of those areas that can be a little tricky in the wet part of the year. I don't know, maybe. Only one real good way I know of to find out, and that's just dive off in there and regret it. Show you my aggravation. Get my hand out of the way. Show you my aggravation with a 1845 case. This battery's not dead. This battery's fine. It's cranked fine every time I've needed it this morning, but now nothing. The battery's not dead. I know the battery's not dead. The funny part is, if you hook jumper cables to it, fire right off. There's these ignition systems in these things, they've always been a little bit of a problem, a bit problematic. You got a relay in them that gets burnt out. And you can put a starter button in place of the ether assist. And this one has one. But the damn button quit working. So here we are. I'm gonna hook the jumper cables up and we're gonna get the loader fired up. We're gonna load one more load and take it back over at Randy's, and I hope we don't get stuck. We're gonna go across the creek into the back part, and should just be one load back there. But it's another one of them spots that's got some low spots, and it can be a little mushy. So we'll just have to head in there and cross our fingers. We'll be with you in a minute. We're back. Just gonna head across a little creek over here. Got to get this back side. This is the one I've kind of been a little bit curious about. It's just kind of hard to get in and out of. That's where his cows are staying back over here today. Kind of hoping this little creek bank here is a lot more dry than the rest of the place is. It looks pretty good, so we're just going to try it here. Nice little slope down in, and then gas it up and come on out the other side just like that. That was almost too easy. This is a nice little area back here. It's just a small part of his pasture. You can see a crane right here on the edge of the creek. This is where his cows stay a lot of the time. There's a few spots here we have to watch out for water. It's a little, matter of fact, we may just step over here a minute, walk around, because there's some low spots that you don't really see until you're in them, and when you're in them, you're just in them. So I don't really want to have to shovel my way out again today. One time of that, once a day is enough. So I'm gonna get out and walk around and check it out, and then we'll spread this load. That'll probably be about the last one for today. But let me go over here and see what we're getting into. All right, we're going. We are going. We got that little spot right back there just a minute ago. The truck kind of spun a little bit in. That is a mighty fancy bull Mr. Randy has. Cows are funny. You can sling this stuff out. It kind of, I guess if you look at it the right way, it kind of looks like range pellets. A lot of times when we're spreading in pastures, they've got cattle in them. By the time we get done, the cows are following the truck around. Won't know what kind of food that is we're throwing out at them. Not carrying so much for the hill here. But really like to get off of it. So we're going to do just that. We're going to turn right here because that's where that wet sloppy stuff starts. And we do not want to be in. We're just going to keep moving. Going to keep moving, I hope. Yeah. Okay. We got one end of this pasture here. We're going to lay it on pretty thick because the rest of it's still mighty wet. And I don't care anything about having to dig the truck out again today. Once that's enough. I'll let Mr. Randy know that we had to stop just a little short of getting this side finished. And when it clears up, we'll bring some more over. We've got a little hill right here, right over there. And it's a little steep, a little bit steep, especially when you're going up sideways. The biggest problem with it is there's a ditch there in the middle that's kind of a drain ditch. And when you hit it, you tend to spin just a little bit unless it's really dry, which, like I've been talking about for the last few minutes, it is not. But when you hit that little drainage ditch and you're already kind of sideways on the hill, it's not exactly the most fun feeling in the world. What we'll do is we'll just kind of finish up this round here, and then we'll turn and go right back out the way we came in. And this part of the pasture right here will be covered pretty well. It's a pretty little section of pasture, nice and flat. Problem is it's in floodplain, I'm sure, and as most everything around here is. If it's not a hill, it's in floodplain. These little mountain creeks, we're in they call it the foothills of the Appalachians. And these little mountain creeks, man, if you've got flat area around them, it's in flood. It's usually kind of soft, a little bit wet, but it sure is pretty. Get up here and fertilize these March flowers just a little bit. It's what we call them. I think the name for them is actually jonquils or jonquils or something along that line. We had the blizzard of '93. It was after the jonquils had already bloomed, and it's kind of funny. You had like 8 inches of snow and then a little yellow flower about that big sticking up over the top of it. Grind it till you find it. I think that's about right. That was not the transmission. That was the PTO. I don't think there's any kind of synchronization in the PTO. It just is what it is. Gotta get this little hill here finished up. Then we'll come through here and we'll sling a little more off this side. Looks like we're getting just about out. Gets a little bit, the load gets a little bit sporadic as you get toward the end. We're starting to get some of that now. They just kind of ease up through here where we've already been a couple of times. Actually, I'm gonna make one more round right down here close to where we got stuck, just to make sure I get that portion covered good. I'm not gonna go in where we got stuck a little while. It's not that far. I've already been through this little section right here. After we got stuck, this is where I got off the rest of the load that we had on here. And I'm not sure, I just kind of made a swing through here, but I'm not sure I got the center portion very well, so that's what we're getting right here. It's just a little bitty triangle right there. We need to finish up. And we're going to head back toward the gate, and I believe that's going to be about it for the day. So, hope you've enjoyed it. I know I have. It's just a nice day to do this kind of stuff. We're out of chickens right now, which is always fun. It's a good time for a day off. Like I said, heading to Orlando tomorrow. We're going to leave from the junior high school at about 5:30, I think. So too excited about that. But on the contrary to being a normal farmer, we're not too keen on getting up before the break of dawn. We do it. That don't mean we like it. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this. Like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff. If you've got some suggestions on some things you'd like to see, let us know. We may have a few more fun things coming up. We bought an old tractor at an auction here a while back. Not really an old tractor. It's probably from the 80s, I guess. It's a tough build. Don't see a lot of them. And it's kind of an oddball because they're actually not a copy of an Alice Chalmers G, but they're similar to an Alice Chalmers G, and they were originally made as cultivator tractors for people's gardens, but they were sold. You could get them with a mower deck, and ours just happens to have the mower deck, which I understand is kind of an odd option. So we'll get some of that going here before too long. It's digging in, and it doesn't run right now. It'll crank, but it won't run. I kind of think it sat a while and carburetor gummed up. It's about normal for an old tractor, but we'll get on to that. And again, we appreciate the views. The last spreader video we had of me and Cora, I think it had like 450 views this morning, which is awesome. I never expected that. So again, thank you. Like, subscribe, comment, all those good things. If you like what you see, tell us. If you don't like what you see, tell us that too. And we'll see you next time.